As if the NFL isn't screwed enough, they hired a car alarm to play at the Super Bowl. I think we found something worse than kneeling before the flag. It's puking in your ear.
She will be loved. She will be loved.
Oh, not by you. Talk about a dog whistle. Every time that's played, an angel sets itself on fire. Anyway, here's some fake news, okay? You know that little box on your front page that says all the news that's fit to print? That's fake every time the real story is not fit to print. Like the good news coming out of the Koreas. No nukes is good news, so the Times can't be bothered. Did you hear about our dealings with Poland? If it undermines the Russian collusion narrative, you're not going to hear much. And there's that endless good news on the economy, but who's counting? Just people seeing more cash in their wallets. But that's not what the Times wants you to see. No, they want fake news from readers just to camouflage their conveyor belt of bias. And they can't do it without you or a hand mirror. By the way, I'm not saying I don't make mistakes. This is actually what I wore at the Emmys.
I knew you two must have been getting into something, but I just didn't imagine it would be this. Does it feel good? Yeah?
Very, very angry at my stylist. But I make mistakes every time I open my mouth. That's not fake news, though. The Times misleads by design, and they only admit the big errors when they're actually cornered. Remember this headline? Nikki Haley's view of New York is priceless. Her curtains, $52,701. Yeah. Sounds like they're blaming her for the purchase, because they are. Even though near the bottom of the piece, you'll find out that Obama's staff ordered those curtains for $52K, the most expensive drapery since Joe Biden's hair plugs. There are other examples. The recent anonymous op-ed about insiders trying to stop Trump, that could be inducted into the Fake News Hall of Fame, or what I call CNN. I kid him. Not really, I don't know. Fact is, real non-fake news means nothing to the Times because to them, it's whatever contradicts their wacky left worldview. Remember their idea of a big thinker?
We are following a procedure. I will not yield to the gentleman, and the gentleman will observe regular order. The gentleman will observe regular order.
Yeah, and the Times endorsed him. What a member. Of the House. Of the House. A member of the House. What are you people clapping about? Sick people. Plus, when Republicans are in charge, the sun can't possibly shine. So a dystopian world is built and chaos must reign. The Media Research Center compiled words the press uses to describe Trump. He's always angry, furious, outraged, infuriated, livid, erupting, lashing out on a tirade. The good news? He only stabbed Mike Pence twice. Could have been worse. So why this language? Well, to make you think the guy's unstable. That's today's narrative, unstable. Next week, it'll be living in a stable with a beautiful mare. Don't question lifestyles. Absent any harmful deeds by Trump and faced with great economic news, the media must create a daily fear that justifies their sweat-stained night terrors. I mean, how dare you not freak out like the Times, like The View, like CNN? To them, Trump's tweets, they're like spiders. Yet you, because you don't read the Times, you sleep through the night like a baby on dry sheets, unlike Krugman. But if you can't live in fear like them, maybe you need a drug.
I'll tell you something. Things are going great. I got a new job and a bonus. My taxes are down, and my neighborhood's safe and clean. I tell you something. I sleep well at night.
Bummer, isn't it?
Huh?
You're doing it all wrong. In today's world, it's simply unhealthy if you're not as stressed out as the media wants you to be. If you're not up all night worrying about your problems, then the problem is you. You need to worry about things even if they don't exist.
How do I do that?
It's called Drama Queen. It's the first drug that creates daily stress by changing the chemical makeup of your brain. Designed specifically to wake you up at 3 a.m. and keep you alert for 3 solid hours worrying about ridiculous things. The secret ingredient, bad cocaine.
Wait, what?
Don't worry, I've already put some in your drink, so you'll feel it by the time you get home.
What are we gonna do about our horse? It eats so much hay, never enough hay.
We don't have a horse, Larry.
But what if we did? What if we did?
We live in a studio apartment in Midtown.
What if we moved to a farm? Then we need a horse, and it would eat hay. So much hay, never enough hay.
You are an idiot. I'm leaving you.
What about the horse? So how do you feel, Larry? Awful. I was up half the night. I feel terrible. The horse is right. Excellent. See you in 2 weeks.
So get Drama Queen today, or don't and go on with your life without worrying so much.
Let's welcome tonight's guest. He produces more laughs than my hyena feather tickler. I don't like that. TV writer and producer Rob Long. And I wrote it. I wrote that horrible introduction. She's so sharp, she's often mistaken for cheese. I know. I wrote that too. Her new book, hashtag Do Not Disturb, is out October 9th. Author and TV host Jedediah Bila. She'll make you laugh and cry and then very depressed. National Review reporter Kat Tim. He bruised his knee on Mount Rushmore. Former WWE superstar, my massive sidekick, Tyrus. Rob, what do you make of the media crowdsourcing to help bolster their idea of fake news? I mean, they did this with Sarah Palin's emails. Remember that?
Yeah, but it's such a weird thing because they're already doing that. It's like it feels to me like Nick Confessore, the guy. It feels like he needs probably to have a little talk with the whoever is the HR mental health person at the New York Times, because you're not supposed to let the wires show.
Yeah.
And this looks like they're like letting us already know their playbook, which is to sort of find stuff and then claim it's fake news.
Yeah, that's true. That's very transparent of them.
Yeah,
they should be doing it. They should be sitting around going, let's find.
And also, like, they keep saying whenever they make a mistake, it's like, well, we don't have enough editors.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, in the New York Times building, there are enough editors.
Yes, exactly.
It's just that they're all partisan Democrats.
Yeah, and they're cash strapped, so they need this. They need a crowd to help them do this. I think the real crowdsourcing, Jedediah, are the people that forced them to do corrections. The ones when they saw the Nikki Haley, that was real crowdsourcing. Right. Everybody, because if nobody, like if Fox News had just said what you did to Nikki Haley was terrible, they would just say that's Fox News.
Right.
But
well, they should have just retracted that. That was ridiculous.
Well, they did.
Right. How long does it take? And when they do these little corrections that nobody reads in fine print, I'm just curious what's disinformation. They say they're going on this disinformation campaign to try to find all the misinformation out there. What is misinformation to the New York Times? Seriously, they're going to be looking at people's Facebook posts in their Facebook groups. If I had a Facebook post out that was talking about Hillary Clinton, the liar, in the last election, they would call that misinformation.
Right.
I would call that the truth because she's a liar. But honestly, now it's going to be, I'm wondering if you're going to see a list of items from the Daily Caller, Town Hall, FoxNews.com, conservative pundits, and they're going to call that misinformation when in fact, those are a lot of the people that are fact-checking the New York Times.
You know, you should write a book on Hillary Clinton, and it's called Misinformation. Wow. I come up with these ideas almost monthly.
You already titled my next book. Don't say it.
Oh, no, I did.
Don't say it.
I came up with a book, a nutrition book called The Jedi Diet.
He's got to say it.
Wow. Thank you. And, Kat, I've come up with a lot of titles for your podcast, none of which are printable. Anyway, Kat, is your opinion swayed very much by media spin?
No.
No? That's good.
It's not. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because I wonder if they will just cover the fake news that hurts Democrats rather than also covering the fake news that might go against President Trump. Because if you really care about fake news and that's your issue, then you have to cover both.
Right.
Also, I think that this is making the assumption, this entire thing is making the assumption that fake news is the reason why Trump won the election, right? That's what a lot of liberals think. They're going to be very disappointed when they find out that's not the case. Trump won the election because Hillary Clinton was a nightmare of a candidate, and it really was that simple.
I'm beginning to believe knocking Hillary will get applause. I've been doing it. I didn't even knock her. I didn't even knock her, Tyrus. I just said maybe if I knock her.
It was a pre-knock.
It was a pre-knock. I had a pre-knock agreement once, and it didn't work out. Trump administration has rattled the media in such a good way, in some ways, right? That they're doing this.
Well, I would say they keep them honest, but we know that's not happening.
Yeah.
I think it's gotten to the point where this was a board meeting. You know, this was a meeting. This was a group.
Yes.
Of 5 or 6 editors like, Johnson, what do you got?
Yeah.
Russ is not working.
Yeah.
He's an adulteress, not working. He's lying, it's not working. He's rude, not working. What do you got? Quick, something. Let's go to the people. Yeah. Maybe there's some really good liars in the street that have some really good stories. I saw some stuff on Facebook. We could do that. And that's basically, it's like, that's our new campaign.
Yeah.
It's not us, it's the people. So now they're trying to blame it on us.
Yeah.
Because the fight that they're having is failing miserably. It hasn't really, no one has seen a story about Trump from his side. It's been like, wow, you know what? Thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The hell with this guy. Now it's like it just gets worse for them.
You know what the thing is? All the stories begin with the bad stories with, well, he said this. Nobody cares about what he said anymore. It's whether he's done stuff. And so far what he's done is fairly productive. So no one, when he says, well, did you hear what he said? It's like, yeah, yeah, I take cabs.
Yeah, I heard what he said, but I was busy buying my new boat with my extra tax money. So I really don't care what he's going to say because I'll be on my boat and there's no reception on my brand new boat.
Whose fault is that?
That I paid cash for.
Right.
Who buys a boat?
This guy.
Don't buy it. You know what? Sum it up. The media is now like, I don't remember the Three Stooges. There was always one lady in Three Stooges that was constantly freaking out, like, oh, get away. That's the media.
Yeah.
The media is the lady from Three Stooges.
Or actually, the Marx Brothers, Margaret Dumont.
Yes, I'm sorry. You know what? I got it confused.
Yeah.
Margaret Dumont is the one. See, that's why you're in TV, and I'm some weirdo. All right.
That's not the only reason why.
Yes. So true. What do Bob Woodward, Alec Baldwin, Stormy Daniels, and Rob Long have in common? Whatever it is, it's contagious. baked bean burritos and some dark roast coffee, Stormy Daniels is letting it all out. She's got a new book out. It's called Full Disclosure, and she's telling everything, and I mean everything, about that time in the hotel room with Trump, kiss and tell. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can Google it, but why? I run a classy show here. So yeah, Stormy's got a book out about Trump. Bob Woodward's got a book about Trump. Alec Baldwin wrote a book about Trump. And so did Rob Long. You're welcome, Rob. There's your plug.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I enjoyed that
Book of poetry. Honestly, has anybody been better for the book industry than Donald Trump? Hell no. You got a story about Trump? You got yourself the makings of a book. In fact, anything that happens to you regarding Trump, big, small, or utterly pointless, can become a book. Here is a stack of books that are coming out soon. Okay, let's go to this one. See that? I sneezed. Did the president say, "Bless you, Carl"? No. That's an actual book. Ooh. Trump cut in front of me at Baskin Robbins and then broke wind. Oh, that's a favorite. Trump tweeted that I have sleepy eyes, which I do, but that's not my fault. I guess that's Chuck Todd's memoir. All right. I was hired to DJ a Trump family wedding, and he grabbed the mic and said I had low energy and was a waste of money. I didn't know Jeb had a night job. All right. Trump didn't hold the door open for me in 1986 at Studio 54. Then I was framed for cocaine possession in the bathroom. Truth is, I had already finished all the coke I came with. Anyway, if you want to hang out later, I'd love to tell you about my screenplay I'm working on. And do you know where I can get some more coke? All right. Jedediah, you're a busy person. You have a great new book coming out. Are you interested in reading any of these books? Do you have an idea for a Trump book?
You know what's so sad? I purposely left Trump out of my book because
Really?
I was afraid that I would marginalize half the country if I brought him in. I was like, oh, half the country's going to hate me, half the country will love me. I'd rather try to appeal to more people. But now that I think of it, even if Trump hated the book, he would have tweeted it out,
Yes.
and I would have sold a ton of books.
That is true.
Who's dumber than me?
No, well, he hasn't.
I should have went after Trump in the book.
Yeah, you should have. You
Come
should have.
on.
He hasn't tweeted about my book. Kat, if you were to write a book about Trump, what would it be about?
It would be about anything but Trump.
Okay. Ooh, that's a great title.
Anything but Trump. Well, seriously, a lot of these books that come out, these tell-all books, they do absolutely nothing to change anyone's mind whatsoever. If you're reading it and you believe everything in it, you hated Trump before you picked up that book.
Right, right.
And if you're someone who supports Trump, you kind of don't really find it credible. You think that it's all anonymous claims, and you see it more as the media going after Trump. And I think in the case of a lot of Trump supporters, even if every single thing in every single one of these tell-all books were true, I don't think they'd really care because they liked the results, they liked the policies, they liked the vision that he has for the country. So I don't think it makes a difference. People would be better off writing books about like cross-stitching or like frog genetics. That would change just as many minds about Trump as these books are going to change.
How about cross-stitching a frog?
Not Greg.
Oh, all of a sudden we're pro-frog. Jeez Louise.
That's vile.
It is vile. Tyrus,
I've given this a lot of thought.
Yeah.
I don't really know about the content, but I got the cover down.
Yes.
Yeah. Tyrus and Trump. TNT. Two guys who just don't give a
I like that. I like that. And it's for teens.
It's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
No, is it for real? Because no one. Have you heard kids today?
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah, I've walked by a school to pick up my daughter.
Yeah.
I learned new stuff.
Yes.
She's 4.
True.
She's the mouth on them.
Yes, it's
The
terrible.
things they Google.
It's terrible.
Watch your kids.
Yeah, watch your kids. I don't want to have to. All right, Rob,
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to, by the way, just by.
Yeah, you got it. 101 yards from any school
Yeah,
or church.
How did you know?
Well, it's the law.
It is the law. You know, I went to law school just to figure that out. You know, you have obviously had a Trump book out.
Yeah.
How did it do?
Well, it didn't cause me any tax trouble. Put it that way. No, so I took some speeches and interviews and stuff, and I arranged it like poetry because he kind of talks like poetry a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Not elegant poetry, but it's got a certain rhythm stuff.
It's poetic.
And so people who love Trump didn't like it because they thought I was making fun of him. And if you really love Trump, you're not allowed to make fun of him.
Right.
Don't make fun of the God King.
Yeah.
And people who hate Trump thought you can't make fun of him. He's the most evil thing ever. It's like making fun of Hitler.
Yeah.
So people who love Trump didn't buy the book, and people who hate Trump didn't buy the book.
This was my fear.
So basically, nobody bought the book.
I read the book, but I did pick it up in the back in the green room. So I'm sorry. I owe you. Whatever that is, just get with me after the show. But
I haven't. Go ahead.
I would say his talking style is, you pointed out, great. He learned, like Don King, his wrestling background, like he learned how to speak that way, which is kind of almost like a flow, like a rhyme when he talks. Muhammad Ali was the same way. It's a great way to communicate. And Don King was a big opponent with how he learned his public speaking back in the day.
Yeah, that's so true. They're very similar in that manner. My idea is a book of recipes. Recipes with only 4 ingredients, which would be well-done steak, ketchup, Diet Coke, and fried chicken. I calculated with 4 variables, you have 10,000 combinations with those 4 ingredients. So that would, I don't have a name for it though, but I think it would be called
Remaindered.
Remaindered. That's a book term for being discounted heavily. Yeah. Like your face. Still to come, when will the media wake up and cover the Brett Kavanaugh story? It's like I have to do everything around here.
Breathe freely.
Kavanaugh of sexual assault has tentatively agreed to testify before a Senate committee on Thursday, but several elements involving Christine Blasey Ford's testimony remain unclear. Talks are set to continue Sunday. Ford says the Supreme Court nominee attempted to rape her decades ago at a high school party. Kavanaugh has categorically denied the allegation. And overseas, the death toll from a tragic ferry accident in Tanzania is more than 200. But an engineer managed to survive the disaster. He locked himself in a small room inside the ship, and divers pulled him to safety. Authorities say he's in serious condition. The ferry's captain has been arrested. Investigators allege that he had someone untrained steering that vessel. As many as 400 passengers may have been on a ferry with a capacity limit of 100. I'm Marianne Rafferty. Now back.
Well, just between the end of that last segment and this segment, I think 3 more books just came out about Trump. I know. Here are a few. Here are a few. Trump made me cook his steak well done. I mean, who eats well done steak? Oh, I remember this guy. The president pushed me aside at a global leaders summit, and I'm still mad. Oh, this goes way back. In the first grade, Trump borrowed my pencil, and when he gave it back, it had bite marks on it. All right. All right, will an accusation undo a nation? Attorneys for Kavanaugh accuser Christine Blasey Ford said their client wants to testify next week before the Senate Judiciary Committee, but it won't be Monday, and it won't be unless the terms are fair. Good. I hope they work this out so we can weigh all the testimony and decide with all the facts presented to us. The way our system of justice is supposed to be. Innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around.
These people in Congress right now, in that Senate Judiciary Committee, these white men, old, by the way, are not protecting women. They're protecting a man who is probably guilty.
She's always so helpful. As is Democratic Senator Mazie Hirono, who says Dr. Ford, quote, needs to be believed. Isn't that another way of saying Kavanaugh's guilty? But she's actually going further than that.
Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country. And I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up. Do the right thing. All right. For a change.
I think the right thing is to not make sweeping generalizations, but that's me. Seems to me if we're going to take all accusations as fact without a fair hearing, then we really don't need a legal system at all, so we really don't even need a Supreme Court, and therefore we don't need a Justice Kavanaugh. So I guess we can all go home. Right, Clyde?
Yeah!
Clyde always agrees with me, Kat. You know, no matter what happens, I think the country's really going to unite when this is over.
Yeah, right. Be divided forever.
Yes. What do you think? I mean, what do you think of this? It seems to me that you either, if you don't believe, then you're in another camp, right? And why can't you take something seriously and reserve judgment? I don't get it.
I don't know what to think. So I don't really have a camp to go home to. I'm just wandering around in the forest.
Yes.
Because on the one hand, why would she lie? Her life has been made way more difficult because of this. She's getting death threats. She's fearing for her safety. On the other hand, normally when there's an accusation like this, a bunch more accusations pop up because men who do things like this generally don't do them just one time. So I want to flat out say that I don't know, and I think a lot of the people who are claiming that they know for sure one way or another, their reasoning for their belief is based on partisanship rather than on the facts, because the facts are super unclear. People are saying she must be believed, you have to believe her. They don't want Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, and a lot of people who are saying she's lying, she must be lying, do want Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, and that's what they're basing it on rather than the facts. I don't know how, looking at the facts, any reasonable person could say for sure that they know one way or the other.
Yeah, this is something you can't know anything about, Tyrus, correct?
Yeah, because my name's Bennett and I ain't in it. I'm not going to make general ideas off my belief system. I feel in this case, this is very similar. I talked about with Clarence Thomas back in the day, and I think because both people are going to tell their story. So much time has passed, and there's really not going to be any, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I don't see how we're going to know one way or the other, just because of the time there's no other witnesses or facts or police reports or things like that. So if it comes down to both people's statements, I think tie should go to the accused, just based off just my opinion.
Well, that's the justice is like you're
can have an
innocent
asterisk
until proven
yeah.
guilty. But in the court of public opinion, Rob, we have flipped this. It's
Right.
now you are guilty and you should just go away.
Well, you're only guilty if we don't like you already.
Yes.
Like, you have to not like him already to think that he's guilty. There are no facts that are going to come out. No one has any facts. It's happened 30-plus years ago. The guy says he wasn't even there. She says, I'm pretty sure it was you. There's nothing new to come out. It's really going to be two stories being told. I mean, they're both pitching two different movies, and only one of them is going to be the box office hit. And I think his problem is, how do I treat this person with respect and with dignity, even though what she's saying isn't true?
Yeah, and it is a challenge because you have to be so delicate about what you say, or else you will be attacked. And I think, Jedediah, my trouble with this is politics is now the art of personal destruction.
Right.
Nothing is sacred. If you're politically different from me, I will come after you. And I think that all men and women, we shouldn't be divided by gender on this.
Right. It's not about gender. It's not about gender. It's about the idea that somebody can wake up one day, make an allegation. I don't know if it's true. I wasn't there. Nobody in this room knows. None of us were there. There were 3 people in the room. It was 30-something years ago. She doesn't remember when it happened. She doesn't remember exact details. Everyone has said, we want you to come forth and we want you to speak your mind. But that doesn't mean that on second one there's a victim and there's a perpetrator.
Yeah.
That has not been decided yet. That's not fair. And watching this media coverage of, I don't care if it's a woman or a man or a dog. I don't want someone to be able to accuse someone of something that's very serious and immediately be believed. No, let's hear everybody out. Let's get the facts. Let's figure it out. It's not fair to either party. And by the way, her legal team is infuriating. They should not be able to set the terms of this hearing. There are rules to be followed. Neither she nor Kavanaugh's team should be able to set the rules. You go when you're supposed to go. She can't decide when she's going to speak. She says she wants to speak. She wants him to speak first.
Right.
How can he speak first? He has to respond to what she's saying. I'm not saying that I don't believe her. I'm saying I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's been super gross to see so many people on the left use her like a political pawn.
Right.
And a lot of these people are saying, well, I believe women, but they're the same people who certainly wouldn't believe all the women who accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault, which is way more than just one.
The one hilarious thing in this whole situation was that a senator actually said, shut up and step up, which is hilarious because we have a Senate who does not do that. So for them, you want to blame it on the bros? Where's the bipartisanship? You know, it's amazing.
And it could flip, honestly. It could be a woman or a man in this position.
It's everybody is unsafe when you remove due process from the world.
No justice.
That's why America's different. And speaking of things that haven't been confirmed, Bert and Ernie's sexuality. That's next.
We brought the Infinity
To hit Sesame Street this week, a former Sesame Street writer was asked if Bert and Ernie were gay. Said Mark Saltzman, who began writing for the show in '84, quote, "I always felt that without a huge agenda when I was writing Bert and Ernie, they were. I don't think I know how else to write them, but as a loving couple." Okay. Meanwhile, Sesame Street released 2 statements in response. They say Bert and Ernie are just friends, and because they're puppets, have no sexual orientation. And Frank Oz, the guy who created Bert in the '60s, says they're not gay. Okay, so does this settle it? Maybe. Or maybe we need a second opinion. Please welcome Bert and Ernie's former roommate. We have Clive Parker Hughes, who joins us from Helsinki, Finland. All right. Clive, I'm glad you could be here.
Where am I?
Well, you're on Fox News, Clive.
Fox News? More like faux news. Get it? Faux news? You're faux. I'm very clever. Faux news. Write that one down. You're welcome.
All right, well, we were talking about Sesame Street, and since obviously you're a puppet, I was thinking, you know...
I'm the puppet. No, Gary. You're the puppet. A puppet of faux news and their right-wing overlords. You're a puppet of Vladimir Putin and the Koch brothers. Let me tell you a story, Gary. I once farted 2 pounds of glitter at a kid's birthday party, and everyone loved it. When have you ever made a difference in someone's life like that? Faux news, white male puppet. Resist! Resist!
All right, can we just please stick to the topic?
Of course. Anything to avoid talking about evil Donald Trump. Yes, he's evil. And you're evil. You're lucky I'm not there in the studio with you, pal, or else I'd peel off your face and wear it to a cousin's birthday house party. By the way, do you have any cocaine? I'm starting to come down.
No, Clive, I don't have any cocaine. By the way, though, are you naked?
Yes, it seems that I am. I wasn't earlier. I'm not sure how that happened. Anyway, does that offend you? That I'm okay with my body? That I love the feeling of the air against my naked felt? Listen, you old white male, I don't live by your rules. I got a girlfriend and a boyfriend. 2 boyfriends. 3 boyfriends. And I could eat you and crap you out like a furry fax machine. Next question.
All right, one more time, Clive. You lived with Bert and Ernie in the early years. What was that like?
Those guys. I'm out.
I knew we should have pre-interviewed him. Tyrus?
So many things wrong with that. Listen.
Yes.
I grew up. Bert and Ernie, one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
A puppet is a puppet.
Yeah.
It can't be anything else besides a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I get it. You want to get into the real scandal? You talk about Cookie Monster and all his baby mamas. That's a real scandal. Snuffleupagus drug problem. We could talk about that, but you know, they're puppets. They're not.
Yes.
We can't make them heterosexual.
Mm-hmm.
You know. We can't.
They don't have the genitals.
Yeah, they don't. They are puppets.
They're just felt in a hand of a stranger.
Okay, we talked about this in the back, Greg. We're not talking. Do not encourage him. No hands in the puppets.
Rob, isn't this again like the evidence of like how identity politics just goes everywhere it can go?
Yeah. Raging puppet phobia you have?
Yes.
Yeah. But before we go, I want to say that was a very funny segment. And who was doing the voice? Was that Lou Dobbs?
Yes, it was Lou Dobbs. Yes,
he's great. He was just really good. He's really good. You don't think that he could do that, but he can totally do that.
He's going to be very happy that you outed him.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, he's a talented man. He's a talented man. He shouldn't just be doing one thing.
Yes.
He's got facets like me.
Jed?
I got to tell you, I think it's over for us as a society that we're talking about this. We're talking about they had to come out and say these puppets don't have a sexual orientation. And there are people that are sitting there like, oh, okay. Like they're processing that. They're actually thinking about this. Well, no, but are they gender fluid? I mean, we're talking about puppets. Like I'm scared for all of us.
Kat, can't this be one of TV's great mysteries? And leave it at that? Or no?
A great mystery to me is never someone else's sex life.
Yeah.
Because I really don't give a
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, if you're I don't care about the sex lives or sexual preferences of real human beings. I'm not about ready to care about the sex lives or sexual preferences of beings that are A, not beings, not real, and B, don't exist below the waist.
And C, don't exist below the waist. Because they're puppets.
Rob, one of these days, they're going to look at this show and go, how we were anti-puppet, and maybe they have it already.
Yeah. Look, I mean, who knows? All I know is that on Reddit right this minute, there's some really, really, really interesting puppet porn being written.
Yes, yes.
And if there isn't,
Yeah,
get to it.
unfortunately, I'm pretty sure there probably are some puppets with sex lives.
Yes, exactly.
But that's not the puppet's choice. It's the creepy dude with the puppet because it's a puppet.
Coming up, is your dog jealous over your phone? Probably not, but let's pretend anyway. How adorable.
At Athene, we
phone and get off your phone, cat. Experts say the time you spend looking at your smartphone could be making your dog sad, and worse, could even contribute to long-term behavioral issues. Veterinarian surgeon Ian Booth, must be British, tells metro.co.uk, saw that coming. Those sorts of dogs can end up becoming emotionally distant from their owners, which is terribly sad. If you've let a relationship get to that level, why on earth did you bother getting a dog in the first place? Well, I don't have this problem because I'm never on my phone, and my dog's in great shape. I think the music really brought that together, Rob. Are we, should we be more worried about the humans we're neglecting?
I'm worried about what that guy's doing in your house.
Hey, those are my problems.
Okay, whatever.
And there's problems I enjoy solving on my own.
I don't think that's the problem. My problem, I think, is that people who have dogs and phones are always taking pictures of their dogs and Instagramming them.
Oh, that's true.
I feel like dogs at a certain point are like, hey man, just put the phone away. No more pictures. I think that's what the dogs get irritated by.
Yeah, they're very reclusive. Get that iPhone out of my way.
There.
Yes. Jed, what do you think dogs think our phones are? I'm always wondering about that.
My dog's taken a selfie or two, I have to be honest.
Really?
She has. She'll step on it. I don't know. I think they might think it's another thing they have to compete with. Like they know it's not another dog, but they're like, what is that? Like she'll if I'm on my phone, she'll kindly smack me a couple of times, like to say, all right, that's like, you know, keep it up. And then she will be spiteful. Like I've found a few naughties on the floor, you know, in places they weren't supposed to be. I think they think it's like, maybe it's like not a cat, but it's something. And they got to get it out of the way.
I have a different meaning for naughties on the floor. But it involves rope. Cats! You have a cat.
I sure do, Greg.
Yes, it doesn't affect cats as much, they say. Why is that?
It's amazing because with a cat, you can multitask.
Right.
See, what I like to do, and I have a big weekend coming up, going to do a lot of this, can lay in my bed with my cat under my chin, purring, and then playing Candy Crush on my phone.
Wow.
I can be on my phone, and he's still down to hang.
Wow.
Which is why I like him so much, because my human friends, they don't really stand for that as much.
No, they don't.
They'll say, cat, well, why don't you get off your phone? I'm right here. Hey, get off your phone. It's like, why don't you try being more interesting than my phone?
All right. I thought we talked about you not doing that voice anymore.
We never talked about that.
Okay.
We should.
We should. I think we're going to have a meeting.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you don't invite me to the meeting.
Tyrus.
I'm gonna be honest, Greg. This whole show's been difficult for me between the whatever the hell kind of puppet that was and your man toy dog guy. And these type of experiments are by lonely dudes whose girlfriend or boyfriend's not talking to them because they're on the phone all the time, so they're pretending the dog is really them. Because at the end of the day, it's a dog.
Yeah.
Dog doesn't know the difference between your phone or the TV you're watching or the plate of food you eat. He's dog. He'll sit next to you and wait for you. If you leave, he'll be at the door when you come back because he has no concept of time, let alone the damn phone.
Yeah.
The dog really don't care. And that little story that you just told is you projecting some weird on your dog. You know, dogs aren't spiteful. He went to the bathroom because you forgot to take him out because your ass was on the phone too long. Period.
Yeah. You know, I actually think that the dog, from an evolutionary perspective, is kind of relieved there's the phone because now they don't have to fake so much affection for survival.
You literally just did the same thing I complained to her about.
I was trying to
making your dogs into annoying, weird people who are actually reflections of the part of yourself you hate.
Yeah.
Leave the damn dogs alone.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry, but my cat has an entire persona.
Of course he does, because you guys spend so much time together. Of course, you can leave when you want to.
Oh my goodness. I didn't think a pet story would bring out so much rage.
Puppets, dogs, they're puppets. Damn it.
Yeah. Final thoughts next.
Play